Hey everyone, my name is Alice and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be giving you guys a tutorial in how to build palaces in The Sims 4. Disclaimer, I will be using CC, custom content, because I really struggle to build palaces without custom content, but I do have two other videos where I'm building CC-free palaces and I'm kind of explaining what I'm doing as I'm doing it in those videos, so I will direct you guys to them if you are looking on how to build a palace without custom content. In general, most of the bare bones of it is the same, it's just I'm adding custom content decorations, windows, doors, etc. But in terms of the actual shape and how I build it, it's in The Sims 4, it's the same function. We're going to get into it straight away and I'm going to start by showing you guys some palace shells that I think really work. Okay, so I'm on a 50 by 40 lot in Newcrest. I haven't really built palaces in Newcrest before, it's not really the vibe, but I think it's still nice. In general, I would recommend the lots in Tartosa, Windenburg, San Myshuno, the big park. That is like the perfect space for like your main palace if you have a royal family. I'll quickly insert a picture of my main palace that's in that spot. The 64 by 64 lot in Bridleton Bay has really nice landscaping around it. Some of the lots EA really help you with in terms of creating like the best sort of vibe around it for your palace. So I'm just going to list all of those lots that I think are the best ones to build on for your palaces in terms of what EA already gives you, and then you can kind of run with that. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you start building a palace in The Sims 4 is turn the bb.move objects cheat on. So it's this cheat here that I'm typing in. And that will allow you to have the most freedom when you're building in build mode. Okay guys, so the first segment of the video is going to be me showing you some of my favourite palace shells that you guys can be inspired by and use as basic designs for your palaces. Then after that we're going to go into building an actual palace and I'll talk you through my process. And then to finish off the video I'm going to be showing you guys how I decorate rooms using custom content and using all of my build and buy CC. So this is going to be quite a jam-packed video, so I'm going to put in some timestamps and time marks so you guys can skip to whatever bit you want to see. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to do me actually building the shells as a speed build sort of thing, and then I'll kind of talk you guys through the actual like shape of the design in the palace. And then after all of those designs are done, we'll start building the actual palace that we're going to be using for the video. Okay guys, so this is the first type of shell that I've just whipped up quickly for this video. So I've been a bit more adventurous with the roofing than I probably normally would be. I've tried to do something a bit cooler, but this is sort of in the style that you might see certain palaces like Buckingham Palace, European palaces having. So you sort of have like the big pediment and sort of big facade in the middle. So for this palace specifically, what I would do from this point if I was to continue building it, I will put this as it is on my gallery for you guys to continue if you want just like it kind of partially done. I haven't done the back, I've only done the front, so that's for you guys to expand on if you wish to use this shell in the future. So I'd probably just put some windows in like that if I was to continue this build. I mean, to be honest, I probably would have a door there just because I've got some steps there. I like having multiple entrances to my palaces, so say we pop that one in there, like so. I mean, the colours don't really go. And then for the middle, you'd probably have like a big door like that or something on either side. And then you'd kind of, this is only a 2-story palace. My palaces are normally usually 3 or 4 stories, or sometimes even 5, because I like mimic it with like a fake half wall. But so for this one, for instance, you could do like a smaller window if you want it to be a smaller palace, or you could do a bigger window, like, let me find one like that. So you can always play around as well. You could have like them 2 there, then these ones here. In general though, I think it's nice to have lots of accents on your palaces. So for instance, you could have this going round. I normally like having trims going around my palaces. So say we were to like throw that in there, just to give it a bit more dimension as well, because otherwise it looks a bit, I don't like it when builds look 2D. I like them looking really 3D and like able to catch your eye. So if these columns weren't there, you could just like put that around. Well, you can still put it around the middle. It doesn't really make a difference. I mean the corner, sorry. So yeah, that would be what I would do from this point. And then obviously you need like a wall cover. For this purpose, maybe like that one could be cool, like that. And then maybe this one sort of screams to me to have a different color on the bottom, or like a different type of wall pattern on the bottom, something like that. And then the trim like divides it. But anyway, so that's the first sort of style of palace that I think is great to do. An example of this in the palaces I've built so far for like my own royal families and series, I'm gonna just sort of like put a collage of them on screen now. So like these are some palaces that I've already built in this sort of style to give you guys some inspiration. But in general, I'd look at Buckingham Palace as like a real life inspiration. Okay guys, this is my second shell. I know this one looks a bit more interesting. Actually, I probably should have... Hang on, let me do a platform here. So in case you're wondering what I'm doing now, I'm putting a platform in. So this is how you sort of create the illusion that it's filled up and not empty, because when you put all like the roofs together, they look a bit weird. So it leaves a gap in the middle, but with this, you're kind of getting rid of the gap and creating the illusion that there's no gap. This build specifically is inspired by Blenheim Palace. So I recently did a build called Renovalia. So someone on my stream named it Renovalia Palace, and it's inspired by Blenheim Palace. So this is sort of like another take on Blenheim Palace. It's a bit different though. The actual Blenheim Palace has like many columns in the middle, sort of the same as like the last style we did, where there were like 3 tall columns in the middle. This one is less columny and a bit different, but I love the palaces that have this dome at the top. I just think they look really, really nice. So actually, again with this one, I'm going to be putting it on the gallery for you guys to use if you want to. I think with palace building in general, it's all trial and error. Some things do look better than other things, because I just love experimenting with my palace builds. Okay, that doesn't look that good. So as you can kind of see, like it's always trial and error with building palaces. You never quite... I like doing different designs all the time. So that's what this one looks like. Again, this one will be on the gallery. So examples of this sort of palace, I would say, are Blenheim Palace. The Royal Palace of Madrid is kind of like a different sort of design, but I think in terms of like the dome at the top and like, I guess, more pieces, it looks a bit like that. And another example of my palace is personally a Victory Palace, which is my main palace. I have hold speed builds on that, and also me doing the entire interior of that one as well. So again, I didn't do the back on this one. It's sort of up to you to interpret separate and do the gardens. Obviously, what's nice about this is it's on a 50 by 40 lot. So if you guys just wanted the shell, you can put it onto a bigger lot and then expand on the garden. So you have room for everything that you need. Also, I'm not entirely sure if that's centered. If it's not centered on the lot, please do tell me in the comments and shout at me, because I hate when my builds aren't centered, and I do apologize. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next and final design now. Alright guys, so this is the final sort of shell. I haven't finished this shell. In general though, you can just kind of copy and paste like the facade. This sort of style is specifically, if you like Google it, the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. My Summer Palace, which is one of the first palaces I actually built, is very heavily inspired by this palace. In general, with this palace, it's sort of like Buckingham Palace again, where you've got like a really big like courtyard in the middle if you wanted to. You've got a really long palace, just big blocks of palace. I would recommend these sort of designs for your main palace for your royal families. And really, like, because with the Buckingham Palace's design, you had like multiple of these things like poking out, but with this palace it's more just straight and just lots of columns. I can't stress enough how many columns you need on these types of palaces. Again, look at my Summer Palace for inspiration. I've got tours on that, and I have a video where I started building it. I never finished it because it was like a re-uploaded stream, but they're like two of the first ones on my channel. So again, this one will be up on the gallery for you guys, just to show you guys where I would go with this. If I was to continue building it, I would start putting in some windows. So actually these ones are a bit big for the palace, so I feel like, I don't know, I don't normally use the rounded windows, but this one kind of could use them. Actually, yeah, so say we do like these ones. So this is the sort of thing I would do. I would just put windows there, maybe like some different ones on the front, just to show that like that's the front of it. Maybe something a bit fancier like that on the front. Okay guys, so that's all the palace shells. Again, if you guys want to get them off the gallery, and if you want to like redo them or finish them off or kind of redesign it, feel free to do so and tag me. Maybe we could do it as like a shell challenge. That could be quite fun. Maybe we could follow up to this video. So I'll come up with a hashtag. I'll insert it in the video here, so if you use that hashtag and then tag me, and I can have a look at your builds. So yeah, so now we're going to start building a palace from scratch. Okay guys, so I start the build by building a wall. I do like to center it to the lot. So I've done this 3 tiles from each side, so I make sure it's centered. I put it on a tall wall height because that's the best wall height if you're building palaces, especially with custom content, as most of the custom content like windows and such are for taller wall heights. I'm now currently counting the tiles to make sure that what I'm building now is centered to the lot. That's why I'm a bit slow, because I'm really bad at counting, and unfortunately building requires it. Now what I'm doing is I'm creating 2 smaller blocks on either side. So I'm using the copy and pasting tool so that I can get it to be exact, and it's also quicker if you do that. I would just recommend using the copy and pasting tool. I'm now just boxing it in, so I've got the ground floor. Okay, now I've just raised the foundation. You do that by clicking the arrow in the middle when you click on the lot. I'm now putting in a staircase. I'm using the one by Felix Andre from the Chateau pack. I like that staircase because it comes with some really nice add-ons. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm deleting the wall. And this allows me to be able to get the roofing the way I want to. I'm doing the first design that I showed you guys, the first shell. So I'm now sort of like evening it out a bit. I just deleted that roof, but we still have the stairs jutted out a bit, which means that we can kind of, also I'm realizing this is now uneven. I will end up sorting that out, so don't worry. Okay, there we go, she's realized it now. I am recording this audio about a month after building this. This video has been festering for a long time now. I'm finally recording it, so please do bear with me as I have not watched this recording in a very long time. Okay, I think everything's good now. So now what I'm doing is I like having multiple entrances to my palaces, so I'm putting stairs on the other sides as well. I again use the copy and paste tool to make it easier. Okay, so I'm now starting to do the second floor. I just find it easier to do big boxes so I can like sort of calculate what I need and make sure everything's equal. Then you can start with making it look cooler once you've kind of done all of that. In general though, this palace is a big box style. It's a type that you would see on Buckingham Palace. So that's what this one is. And again, I'm using the copy and paste tool. Also, if you're going to be doing multiple of one box that you're copying and pasting one room, you can click shift and then that keeps it copied, so you can kind of keep pasting it if you got to paste it for multiple things. Okay, I'm now going into the chateau. So as you can see, this is what I was on about with the add-ons for the stairs. So these are from the chateau pack from Felix Andre and they look amazing. Alright, I'm doing roofing now, guys. I used to despise roofing. I prefer it now. So what I'm doing, to put it very simply, is I'm going to be using a pediment, which is sort of what I did in that first design I showed you. And I'm kind of, what I like doing for these, just to make sure that the build looks good from like every side, is copying what's on the front to what's on the back. Because then like you know it's going to look good on both sides. So what I'm doing now is I'm clicking on the roof, and the arrow that's more flat and less round, you're going to bring that in on both of the ends, so on the side then also on the front, and that gets rid of the overhang from the roof. A lot of builders don't do this. I do this so because I use pediments and roof pieces and I don't like it when there's any overhang. You might like it, I don't, so that's my personal build style. In general, this build is very symmetrical. I'm now kind of copying and pasting the roofing, but I'm making sure it fits on each side of this. So there's going to be a smaller pediment on both of the sides of the roof, and I think I'm making this shorter as well. Again, sorry, I am like rewatching this after like a month of building it, so please do bear with me. So yeah, so I've decided that's going to be like the main roofing, and now what I'm doing is I'm sort of going to be creating like not like a box around the roof, but kind of like a box around the roof, as you can see. Again, I'm kind of like, I'm not the best at roofing. I have got better though. In general, this is my favorite roof piece, the one I'm using now, because it can be just used in like so many situations, and I think it just like does look good. So I do vaguely remember from this build, just I did like have to fiddle with the roofing a lot. So I'm now kind of copying and pasting the roofing to make sure it's equal. I don't know why I didn't rotate that. I probably should have rotated that anyway. Okay, and now as you can see, I'm trying to sort of get it to look good. I know I end up raising these up a bit like the pediments, so there we go. These roof pieces I'm raising up a little bit. That is like the basic roofing that we're going for with this. So now what I'm doing is I'm putting in the pediments, as you can see. So this is custom content. This is by Felix Andre. So I generally like put it so it fits. So if sometimes you have to change your pediment to fit with the roof, you have to change your roof to fit with the pediment sometimes. So I've gone with the white and gold style pediment. Now the issue with having smaller ones sometimes is like they don't fit in as well, just because of like the shape of them. They're generally quite wide, but if you have them smaller, then the roof has to be smaller. So I ended up going with like the smaller one. So that's what we've gone for. As you can see, I'm sort of trying to get it to fit nicely now. Okay, now I'm doing the same on the back. Oh, I placed that wrong. There we go. Okay, so that is like the basic sort of shape and shell of the palace that we're building. Okay, now I'm going to be picking a wall. Okay, so we're going for this one. Maybe. No, we're going for a different one. Okay. So if you press shift, then you like place it on that entire bit of space and room. So that's what I'm doing. Shift kind of places it over multiple tiles, not just the one. So there we go. Now I'm getting a trim. So I didn't used to use the ones that come with the game, but now I use them. So these are base games, so you don't need custom content for this, but I like how it rounds it off. And I like accents on my palaces. I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. So we're grabbing a door now. I think I end up going for a big door. I could be wrong. Okay, so we did the same one on each sort of entrance to the palace. I'm now doing a foundation trim, so these are again custom content. So most of these are by Alexandre though. So I'm sort of placing it all over. Make sure to place it on like all around the lot, because sometimes like as you build, because I built mine sectionally in different rooms, and then because of that, okay, yeah, now I'm kind of changing the bottom one, but because of that it means like they're all classed as different rooms, so you just need to make sure you place the foundation on every visible tile in case it didn't place itself. Okay. So now we're picking a flooring for the sort of top of the staircase. Again, I have a lot of custom content tiles that I'm going through. So I'm briefly starting the landscaping on this palace. So my sort of plan from the get-go was to keep this bit of grass that's at the front, those two bits there. Okay, so now we're doing windows. I think placing windows is probably my favourite part of palace building, to be honest. So for this design, I decided to go with something a bit more out my comfort zone, and I went for like a brown sort of window. I don't normally do that, but I wanted this to sort of be like, I guess, a mix between, I mean, I haven't really done any with brown windows before, but like sort of a mix between the summer palace, because I've actually gone with gold accents on like the front of the palace, and then probably a mix between the summer palace then Willow Palace, which is like my one in Willow Creek, as you could probably guess by the name. So this is what this palace sort of is. It's a mix between them. I won't be using this palace in my royal save actually. So anyway, in terms of window placements, I just tend to place them everywhere, because I know this isn't the final placement I'm going to end up with, because I place a lot of columns and that often means I have to like move the windows around. So don't take these as like the final placement I'm going to go for, but this is just sort of like I guess like my starting point, and then I kind of deviate from there. And now I'm just kind of changing the doors. Yeah, I'm going for like one that's similar to the actual window style. As you can see, I'm really struggling with this one door at the front. Okay, yeah, I think we go for that one. Okay, so now I'm looking for trims. So this is always my next step, because I like having trims on my palaces. So as you can see, like I said, you're just going to want to like put them everywhere. So when I'm doing trims, I like doing them at the point where it goes into the next floor. So as you can see, I'm doing it right on the line. Sometimes I go a bit over the line, but in general, when you're doing a trim, you need to do it at like the wall height, where like the wall stops. So like just a bit above the bottom window, and then like just a bit below the top window that's above it. So the trim I'm using right now is really nice because it comes with like inside and outside corner pieces. The one I'm using at the top right now also has it, as you can see. So, and I'm doing it in the white swatch just because in general, as you can tell, this palace is like sort of brown, golden white. I just think trims in general just really help bring a palace to life and make it just look more 3D. So that's why I like using them. Also, another hack, like what I said with copying and pasting, sometimes you have pieces in build and buy mode, well, like buy mode, sorry, where if you like place multiple of the same thing, it copies and pastes immediately. It normally happens with trims, but something it doesn't happen with is other things like, I don't know about chairs, but like sofas and stuff. If you're placing them, they don't like automatically like copy and paste so that you're ready to place another one. So for that, I would press shift. So anything that's not like automatically regenerating you like a new one to place, I would say press shift, and then you can, or just keep holding shift really, and then like you can keep getting new ones, just because then it's faster than having to keep going to grab it from the catalogue. Okay, now I'm doing my columns. I love my columns, as you may know. So for this, I'm actually going for probably like inside columns. So as you can see, these columns are like rather like gold and stuff. They're probably what you would only really see on the insides of palaces, but I really do like having that sort of I guess not richness outside, but kind of. I think it does help the build look like a lot more architecturally like cool. So as you can see, I did just bring out the top floor. So I dragged it out, then I dragged out the roof to match it, and now I'm just kind of filling it in. And that's because I have those two columns being support beams for that, because I like having an overhang, or I like having a balcony in the middle of the palace. And generally, I said this is like Buckingham Palace, like the shape of it. Obviously Buckingham Palace isn't like that, but it's got its big balcony in the middle. So that's sort of like the type of thing you need to have in the middle of like this type of palace. You need a center point, you need like a talking point. So for this one, it's the big columns and, you know, the big staircase, and then like the big sort of pediment in the middle. Okay, so now I'm looking through for more columns. We've got some here. So what I'm doing now is I'm sizing them up using the bracket key. So all of these columns have different heights, and you've sort of got to like pick which one fits best with like your build and then also your trims, because the trims, like, it depends if you want them to go over the trims or like come up to the trims. So as you can see, like on one side I've sized it up, but on the other side I'm trying to fit it in without sizing it up, and then I decide to do it on the other side like so. I like putting columns in between my windows. I think having columns just adds so much dimension to your builds. And also what I like doing is putting, so these are like half columns, which is cool because they like stick to your wall basically. They're like wall pieces. The one that's like overhanging and being the support beams, that one is just like a whole column. So with like these columns, you can like put them on the outside. You can put them on the outside corner of your palace. And that kind of gives like it, I guess, because I don't like having, I don't know how to explain it, but I like everything having like a nice edge. I don't like plain edges in my palaces, if that makes any sense. So, and also, as you can see, I got rid of the corner pieces from the trim just because it was clipping with the columns. And now I'm just adding in some smaller columns as well. Again, I just love columns. You can't have too many columns in my opinion, so I'm just putting them everywhere at this point. I know some builders don't really use columns. I think you can definitely build palaces without using so many columns, but I like my builds looking full, and I think that they look really intentional if you put them there. And I like my builds feeling intentional. I like it looking like I put thought into them when I sometimes didn't. I just kind of did what I felt like, but sometimes I do put thought into them, but other times I'm just kind of playing with it. But I guess the more symmetrical it looks as well, the more thought it looks that you put into them. So now I'm putting some pediments like on top of the windows as well. I like doing this again because I think, again, this adds more dimension to your builds. You can see I'm searching them up because I find it easier to search things rather than look through my catalogue, because I have a massive catalogue of custom content. So I like to search it up. So as you can see, then I sort of get like all of the pieces that I can like choose from. I'm doing like the different style on the bottom because it's like a bit bigger and the windows on the bottom floor are a bit bigger. So, and then I'm using the 9 key, so the number key, to raise them. And then if you're going to want to raise something down, you use the 0 key. I do explain this later in the video when I'm doing my palace decorating. I go over all of the hacks and shortcuts in terms of like on your number pad. So what I'm doing now is I'm just grabbing some more decorations. At this point I like sort of trying to see what I can add and then like what looks good, what looks a bit ridiculous. I don't know if I end up staying with these pieces I'm putting on right now, but because I like my builds feeling full, as you probably can tell from what's on my account already, but I like my builds feeling full. Okay, now we're doing roof trims. So make sure you place it on all of the roof pieces. So this is like the best thing you can do with your palaces if you aren't sure of the roofing. If you're not confident in the roofing of your palace, if you use the fence tool, so this is a custom content fence, so this is again by Felix Andre. So you can kind of like box in your fence. It just, in terms of when I say like if you're not confident with your roofing, it just makes your roofing look more uniformed, and like the fact that it's like the fencing looks so like, I don't know what the actual term is for it, but you know what I mean, like it looks So then what I'm doing, for those bits in the middle that are exposed, I'm using the flooring tool to make it look like that on the top, just because then it looks a bit less like obvious that it's like a different colour. So, and it looks more blended in with the roof. Now what I'm using is a roof piece trim. I'm not really sure what it's called. So this is by Annie Q. This is from their Versailles pack. So these I know for a fact I'm having to press shift when I'm placing these because these don't like regenerate themselves. So I kind of first did this when I was building Willow Palace because I just love the way that they look. So these are like, also I use these in my Palace of Versailles build because obviously these are actually like based off of the Palace of Versailles. And I'm sort of evening things out a bit more as well. I like these because they just make it look so like regal and gold. I think in general I had to keep replacing these because if you have to move them, they kind of like, as you can see, they kind of go up and then you've got to like sort of replace them from scratch. So make sure your roof is in like the right place if you don't have to like keep redoing it every time. So make sure like you're sure of your roof. As you can see, if you click on it, it just lifts and then like you have to just try your best. And you just have to like redo it. Okay, I'm doing it on the other side now. Okay. Now, I know like not everyone's gonna like this choice I've made with these pieces because they do look rather extravagant, but I think because this is like more of an experimental build and it's like quite gold on the exterior anyway, I do like it. I don't think it looks ridiculous. And it just feels really royal to me. Any chance I can have to use gold on my builds, I take them. So I'm kind of putting it on all of like the tops of each of the roofs, as you can see. You sort of place them in the middle of your roof and then like you just keep going. You press shift and then keep placing them in a row. And then they look like that. I think that's all I do to the roof. I don't think I touch it again. I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that. Okay, so what are we doing next? I think we're gonna start. Okay, we're playing a bit with like the top floor now in terms of the placement of the windows. I think I realised it wasn't equal. Sometimes it takes me a while to realise things aren't equal. So I think what I'm doing now is I'm trying to find a trim to go on the bottom that fits well, so it doesn't look like it's just a wall at the bottom. I don't know if I end up finding one though. So these are keystones, so I like putting these in again, just because I think, again, they make the build look more 3D, and they just, I don't know, they just really they look intentional. So if you place them, they just look intentional, and it looks like you put thought into your builds. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I am grabbing more columns. I think I'm going to put some on that side of that floor. Yeah, I am. Because again, I don't like the sides of my palaces being bare. Or maybe I'm not. I'm putting it at the end. I don't know if I end up putting it around the corners, but I don't like any free wall space. Yeah, I am putting it on the sides. I thought I did. I know me. But yeah, I don't like things being bare. Again, as you could probably tell from my other builds. I like things being... I'm a maximalist with building. I'm not a minimalist. I think in real life I'm a minimalist, like in my personal style. But when I'm building palaces, I'm a maximalist. I feel like you have to be. You can't build minimalist palaces. Well, you can, but, you know, do you want to, or do you just want to, like, kind of go the full way? If you're going to build something extravagant, I say go the full way. Okay. I think now we're going to start... Yeah, so we're now starting to work on the landscaping a bit. So what I'm doing now is something I just kind of randomly decided to do. This is like a new thing for me. So as you can see, I'm sort of building a new room. And the reason I'm building it as a new room is so that I get the foundation. And then I deleted all the walls. And now I'm using the copy and pasting tool. The thing is that you'll probably notice is it's bringing like the column with it when I copy and paste it, which is a bit annoying. So make sure you delete them. Okay. Also, I think I realized, yeah, the copying and pasting didn't go too well that first time. So again, it's all just trial and error really with this. So yeah, I'm bringing that one back. And the reason for that is because if you look at these like columns on the sides, they're like, if you look at that one on the end at the right now that I'm placing something onto, it's got nothing underneath it. And I don't like when things have like nothing underneath them to like support them, because realistically I'm like, that's gonna have to have some support. It's not just gonna be hanging. So yeah, so I'm just, also it adds more dimension to your builds. It makes them a bit more like exciting to look at. Okay, and as you can see, I'm sort of deleting all of the extra columns that came when I copied and pasted it. So with this build specifically, I'm only doing the front. I'm not doing any more of it, just because if I did, this video would be so long. But in general, I'm just like doing what I'm doing now, my process, what I'm doing now on the rest of the build. So I'm doing landscaping now. So what I'm doing for this, I'm not the best at landscaping, I will be the first to admit that, but I'm using this like hedge and I'm downsizing it using the bracket key. So the left bracket key is downsizing and the right bracket key is making it bigger. Okay, so I'm kind of boxing it in. I don't know if I put a tree in the middle, I'm not entirely sure. I know that I end up using, so there is a flooring from Eco Lifestyle that if you're not too confident with terrain tools, which I admit I'm not, I hate terrain tools, hate with a passion, but also, just so you guys know, I later do realise that they are not the same size. Just clearing that up now, I do realise and I do correct myself. It's all coming back to me now that I'm watching this. So yeah, as you can see, I'm using it to create lines. So in like stately homes, mansions, manor houses, all of that, you get, yeah, as you can see, you get like lines and really like extravagant and intricate grass, I guess, lawns, that's the word, lawns. So I'm using, there's one that's darker with Eco Lifestyle, then there's one that's lighter, so I'm kind of doing them in stripes, like so. You could do this with terrain tools, but again, I don't like using them. If I can get away without using them, I will. That's also what I actually did in the middle of Winthrop Castle. I used these floorings just to make it look, because in like the middle of Windsor Castle, which is what Winthrop Castle is inspired by, you have like a massive lawn in the middle, and that's sort of what that is inspired by. So I've also placed some trees. Okay, now I've managed to correct myself. That's good. Okay guys, so that marks the end of this segment of the video. This is kind of all I built for this. I will put what is done on the gallery so you guys can like continue building it if you want to. So now we're going to move on to me decorating the interior of a palace. I do a drawing room, I do part of a throne room, and then I show you guys how I use vaulted ceilings. Okay guys, and so for the final section of this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I decorate a room and sort of talking you guys through my process. So I'm just going to create like quite a big room actually, but I normally do big rooms anyway, so I think it's fine. So again, tall wall height, just because I normally build these inside of palaces anyway. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this light, the super subtle saucer light. This is like my favorite light. So I like to double up, so you need BB.move objects on for this, but it just gives you more light in the room. I call them sets. I don't build sets anymore, but I used to all the time. When I started my series, I never built actual palaces and builds. Now all of my rooms aren't really sets, I actually just build inside of a palace, but this specifically is a room, so there's no windows, so we're probably going to have to put some windows in as well. I've placed down a floor, so I like doing a wooden floor then having a big rug in the middle. Let's imagine this is a massive room. We may have to downsize it a little bit, but I'm going to be doing a drawing room for this room. This is like one of my favorite walls. It's by the Marble Mortal, and I'm going to kind of show you how it works because it goes in like, so well, let's do a red one, why not? So if you kind of see, we've got multiple like choices, so like that. Then we'll do the same on the other side. Okay, then this is what's connected to this wall. So the King's Gilded Wall is connected to the Velvet Wall. So in these bits here where there's gaps, you pop this one in, and then you can do this one when there's like just one tile gaps, like so, and then I'll probably put a column in the middle. So that's sort of how I would do a wall. So let's go ahead and put like a window in, act like this is an actual palace exterior build. So I think I want to do like a smaller window. Let's do that one. And then what I normally do is I start with the columns. If you know me and my builds, I use plenty of columns, so you can either search it up in search, just type in column, and then like they all come up, all of the ones you have. Obviously I have custom content on, so I'm just doing this with custom content. So I think for this I kind of want to use like this one. So this is a 3 meter one, so we need wall height, we need the 5 meter one. So for a tall wall height it's automatically 5 meters if you're using these sort of columns. And then if you use a trim, you'll be looking for a 4 meter column because the trim will go above it. Most trims are the same size. And when I mean by trim, I mean like custom content trims. So these types of ones by Felix Andre. And then this one, oh hang on, let me find it. This is by the Marble Mortal, and again, it's like the same height. So in general, if you're using a trim, you're going to be looking at a 4 meter one, but if you're not using a trim, you're going to be looking at a 5 meter one. So that's that there. To be honest though, I may end up changing this up a bit. I don't know whether I want to do a ceiling because I'm not great at ceilings, but I suppose you guys want to know how I use my CC ceilings because they do look rather grand. So then normally in places like this, I shove mirrors everywhere. When you're building, guys, you just need to shove mirrors everywhere. They just really help. Obviously, if you're on a lower end PC or laptop, I've heard mirrors aren't that great. So please do. I think I believe someone said it's like the variety of. Hi everyone, Alice here. I'm currently editing. I realised I got distracted and never finished what I was saying. What I meant to say was it's better to use the same items again and again rather than having a large variety of items, and that helps with lag. And as you can see, I did not do that right. I've already made a mistake. As you can see, these aren't the right. So we'll move that one along. Okay, so now actually that works a bit better for us because what we can do is we can move this one here and then we can have one in the middle. So also you just need to know that you're going to be rejigging things a lot because, I mean, I especially am always making mistakes. If you watch my speed builds, I do guess that you guys probably get annoyed at me sometimes because I make so many mistakes when I'm building. So then what you're going to want to do is find a rug. So in general, I like, when I'm looking for rugs, I like to pick about 2 to 3 colors that I want the room to like focus on. So this room is already red and gold, so I'm going to probably look for something red, gold, or maybe another color if I want to tie in another sort of theme to this room. Now this rug is quite nice because it's got a bit of red in, got a bit of gold in, but it's also got a bit of green in, so we could bring in more colors that way. So I'm going to put that one up. Also, I sized this one up using the bracket key. So to size something up or down, you use a bracket key. So then the next thing that I would do, obviously I haven't done the rest of the walls, and that's because I normally, when I'm doing rooms and stuff, I like kind of experimenting a bit with like each wall being different. So I'm going to kind of do these later on. So what I'm going to do now is find a sofa. So I'm going to use these sofas just because I want to show you something really cool. So let's do, I think a white sofa would go with this room. So if we look here, this is a set by Strange Storyteller Sims, and it is called the Neoclassical Parlor Sofa. And these are the sofa cushions. So this set in particular comes with multiple sizes of these couches. So we've got a smaller one here with smaller pillows. So that's a smaller pillow. Let me find the smaller couch. Here it is. So like that. Although I'm probably not going to use the smaller one in here just because I think I just want the bigger ones. So we're going to pop that one in there. Actually, I might... I lied. I'm going to use the smaller ones. Let's grab them. I hate it when things aren't centered. It really does bug me. Oh, it's down there. That's why I couldn't find it. So these love seats, they come under, if you're going to be going, I normally use actually objects by function, just because if I'm building a room and I'm not 100% sure on what I want, that way I can kind of look through everything and then decide. So you've got living chairs, which are cool. You've got dining chairs, desk chairs. So sofas are the long ones, so that's what this one came under. And then love seats are the smaller ones. And then also these are by the Gym 07, and they're basically like ottomans. So I think I kind of want to put them against the window. So I think I'm gonna do, I think that goes. To be honest, I've realized I'm picking quite boring colors for this. I should probably pick some stuff more exciting, but it's fine. So then I might put a chair there. That rhymed. So this is by Golden Sanctuary Sims, who is one of my absolute all-time favorite creators, especially nowadays. I use them all the time. I could not recommend their stuff more. So I'm going to put in a coffee table. So I just put in the Neoclassical Parlor coffee table. So these are all in the same set. I normally mix and match. I don't tend to use the same sets all the time, but you can. If it's easier for you to like coordinate things to be together, then I would totally say that. So then we're going to do a lamp. So I kind of want to do this one. Obviously we've got a very big room. We've got the main furniture in the room now. So what are we going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually enable custom content. So I'm going to add some more furniture in the room, but I don't want it to look messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the back of these smaller ones. If you're wondering how I'm able to move it freely, I'm alt placing. So if you press alt, again, you need move objects on. So when you alt place, you can place something anywhere you want. It just gives you so much more free reign. I'm trying to decide what colors I want. I think I want like, let's do like a really gold room. I love gold rooms. They're like the most obnoxiously royal, but they look so good, so I can't not. So let's start thinking about plants. I realize I'm doing this in a very random order, and I hope that doesn't bother you guys. Every room needs a big plant, whether you do it symmetrically or not. I like symmetry a lot, but I don't like it to be so symmetrical you want to die. So we've got one there. I'm not going to put one on the other side because that would be a bit too much for me. But if you like symmetry, like a lot of symmetry, then I would totally say go for that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a beautiful bouquet. So this is by, I believe, the Regal Sim. I'm going to put one in the middle of that, like so. And then I'm probably not the same one in the middle of the room because I don't like having the same thing everywhere, but I think I might put that one in the middle. So this is by Peacemaker. I do quite like that one. So we'll have that one in the middle. And then what we can, hang on, I'm going to make this room smaller so it's all nice and symmetrical. Like so. So we need some doors in this room, so I'm probably going to, I'm not going to do the same wall pattern on the other side, just because it's very rare for me for my palaces to be that symmetrical on the inside opposed to like the outside wall with the windows. So we'll do that. Okay, that looks good to me because now we can have some paintings as well as doors. Doors do take up quite a few tiles, so do make sure to factor them in. So we'll do these ones and then we'll do these ones. Okay, so we've got this side. So I think what we'll do is we'll pop, I use a lot of columns because I really like columns. I'm kind of putting these in before my doors though, which might mean I'm going to change them because I always like having columns against each side of my door. So go for a medium wall height door. And even if you've got a tall wall height room, go for a medium wall height door, and I will tell you why. So these are my favorite doors. I use these all the time. Obviously we have a lot of options here. I think what we're gonna do is we'll go for that one. We'll go for this one. I normally like having the side with the, I don't actually know what they're called, but the gold rods in the middle. I like having those ones. If a room's my favorite, I have it facing inwards, but I try to match it all to like the other rooms. So if I have a long hallway, I'll either make sure the rods are facing inwards to the hallway or outwards into the next room. And then I try and make them as symmetrical as I can to like all of the other rooms. So what we'll do is we'll have 2 doors there. Imagine it's a really long hallway. Now what I think I'm gonna do is find some paintings. I have a lot of paintings. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm going to use portrait of my own royal family. So I have recolored a lot of portraits. So this is a new one I just done. So I'm going to pop this one in here, I think. So I did size that one up. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it sized up, but we'll leave it for now. And then I'll pick another one. I think in terms of what's going to match with the other one, I think I might go for... again, I've recolored a lot, as you can probably tell. Let's do Eleanor and Helena. So I do have a separate video where I kind of go through a tutorial on how to recolor portraits into your game for your royal families. I will link that in the description of this video. I like using this console table a lot because I love the gold and everything. And this is quite a golden room, as we've already established. I'm coming back to what I originally said because I'm a bit all over the place. Really, when I normally build, I am building all over the place. I kind of build things as they come to me. So the reason why I said to use a medium wall height door is because, let me find it. I pop these at the top of my doors. So what I'm doing here is I'm raising it up and then lowering it down. So to raise something up, again, you need bb.move objects on. You press 9. So keep pressing 9 for however high you want it to go. We can go up to the sky or we can come down low. And then to lower it, you press 0. So just these 2 keys, 9 and 0. So normally, I don't know if I'm going to do that now, but normally I do like having a column either side of my door. I think I'm going to pick a different one just so it's not the same one. Okay, yeah, it's under pilaster. You'd think I would know that by now with how much I use them. I use them in every build. Anyway, so I'm going to size that down. So this comes with so many swatches. Again, this is by the Marble Mortal and Cliff029, but I believe it's on like the Marble Mortal's Patreon. And it's a recolor of Felix Andre's original mesh, so you will need the original mesh. But I believe that, I don't want to say for definite, but I would believe that that would be linked in with the download. So most of this stuff you can get on my CC list for like palaces I've done in the past. So yeah, so that is like my favorite thing to do. I love having like pillars and columns next to the doors. It like frames them really well, and again it adds dimension, and I like dimension being added to my builds. So you could put that above it, and again I'm using the bracket keys to size down, so we can put that there. Another thing I like doing above my like things, if I want to decorate above, is using these. So this is Paris Swag Gold, and sorry wait, the other one was called Petit Trianon Swag. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. So these are 2 options. Or another thing I like doing is this. So we've got this arch by the Marble Mortal, and the reason I like using it is, so say you do that, which is quite nice. I mean, that could work, that looks pretty. We have some things, so these designs actually go above the doors. So let's do that. I like doing this one a lot. So what we can do is we can raise this up to be like that. So, and then if we want it to be like strictly above that, we can do that. And we can kind of play with like how we raise things. I'm not going to do that for this just because I think it looks a bit awkward and not quite the right, it's not quite the right style for this room specifically, but that is something I like doing. So let me hang on, I'm going to go back on myself. So let me show you what I would do if I was going to use that. Say we let's grab a painting. Again, I'll use one of my other recolored ones. These I've recolored a lot of. So let's do that one. I want that one. and then we'll find the bit that goes over. So what you'll do is you'll raise that up, and then you'll raise this one up. So that works, or you could use a longer painting, so this one could work as well. Maybe not sized up. I do have paintings that work with this. This is kind of showing me up. None of these are fitting correctly. So we could do... Hang on. That one fits all right, but it kind of cuts off at the sides. But this one I do have recolors of again. And then what you can do under it to cover this bit is you could put like, not maybe a fireplace. Well, you could put a fireplace. Let's see if that... So that is an idea of what you could do. If you wanted to downsize it even more, you could. In general, there are frames that would fit though there. So that is an option. Actually, what if we did that in the middle of the room? Let's do that because I've done this hack and now... Oh, hang on, that's the wrong... So if you've got this issue, what I would recommend you do is use the shorter one, the medium one, because then that doesn't clip and go through the fireplace like that. I mean, it still kind of clips, but it's not as bad. We'll do this one of my entire family. That's cute. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to quite do the same one that I have all around the room. We're going to use this one. I like there being variation. So I'm using Alt Place to bring it closer in. That's red automatically. I normally do make it white just because I like the way that looks. But I think I'll do that one with this room. I think that fits quite nicely. I think I'm going to do something like this. And then what you'll do in the middle is just sort of fill it out with that. You could leave it blank because no one can really tell, but you know, I don't like leaving things blank. Also, you can change the swatch of this. I might change it to that one. Yeah, we'll change it to that one. Okay. So then what we'll do is we'll have that one on one side and then we'll have this one on the other side. So something else I want to show you guys that I'm going to do now is a way of adding dimension in, which is something I love doing. Obviously, if you were going to do this, you will need like, if you're building a palace from like the outside, you're going to need to like kind of have a room which is a bit more like you've got gaps in between your rooms so you can fit things in like this. So I'm just doing it like that though for now. One way you can look them up is Doric or Doric. Again, I do apologise for my pronunciations. So here we are. Niche. Niche. That's the word I was after. You need a niche. So this is how you use a niche. So let's do you want to do that one? These ones are cool because they're recolored. I think these are by, these are by RT's Sims. I'm going to pick the gold one like that. So we'll do that on either side, like so. I think I'm going to do that one on either side of it again. The reason why you need something at the back is because it goes through the wall. You can have it without, obviously, but then sometimes if you're putting statues in there, I have a lot of CC, so it takes a while to load. Do bear with me. So if we were to put like this in there, so he's fine like right now, but if I was to put it in like that way, he's going to be like that color. So in general, I would recommend like having something there behind him. Yeah, we'll do her. Another thing you can do though, if you have a flag, that's if you have a flag. You may not have a flag recolored in game. I do. I didn't do it myself though, I'm really bad. My amazing friend Millsy did it for me. So this is my flag recolored in game. So in like big foyers, I generally put these in because I love my flag. I put it everywhere I can. But if I have like a big hallway, foyer, ballroom, anything, I'll put my flags everywhere. But because this is a drawing room, I don't really think we need a flag in here. You can put, let me find, I'll do this dude so he can be there. Platforms. Let's say we want a platform in this room. I mean, I don't know why you might want one, but you might want one. Sometimes it deletes the wall. Do not panic, just build a new one. I used to panic and that made me not want to use them, but don't panic, it's fine. So I'm gonna just put a carpet over it. This isn't a throne room, but let me show you guys how I do my throne rooms. So we'll pop this one here, pop this one on top. Again, don't panic. About the wall being deleted, you can rebuild it. It does let you. So like that. Also, I just realized I haven't said. So if you're placing a flooring, if you press shift, the entire thing places. So like this, shift. Oh, hang on, I should have shown what I did then. You go to walls and empty rooms. You're going to go to platform trims and you're going to go to painted perfection in red. And then you've got a platform in red, which works nicely for a throne room. And actually, let me quickly show you. So platforms come here. I remember I never used to be able to find them. In general, most things are here. You've got a platform tool so you can build that freely if you want, or you've got them pre-placed. You've got rounded ones as well. What else have we got here? We've got a basement tool, so if you're going to build a basement in your palace, you can pop that. Oh gosh, hang on. Boom, basement. So you can have this. This one looks really good, which goes really nicely with the room actually. Oh, I like the colours on this one. Let's say we do it red. Or if you want to be like, have a really bougie throne room, posh, extravagant, Melon Sloth, who is one of the best CC creators, has a whole throne room thing. So you can have these. You can have these. So like that. You can have this one. You can have, you know, this one, and then each of them come with things you can put on top. So you've got that one to go on there, so you just place it and then it's there. So these go there, and then I don't think this one has any additions. And then these do come with actual thrones, so you use the 9 key to raise them. I do use my own thrones though, because I've got my own thrones recolored, but these ones are really nice thrones, so I would again recommend these. So that's an option. And these come with sort of like a built-in platform already if you don't want to use the build mode stuff, or you can put them on top of a platform. This is on top of our platform actually, so we technically could use that. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go with this one just because it fits in the room. So we'll put this behind it just because I want to show how I would properly do one if I were to do one. So we'll do, again, fill in what you need to, have one on either side, lovely. Get in some columns like so. Throne room. And then you obviously need a throne, so I have a lot of thrones in CC. You could just use a big nice living chair though if you wanted to. These are all my thrones that I have though, CC. I mean, we could use one of these. We could use, this one's very expensive. It's like 850,000 simoleons. So this is nice, but make sure that you've got a rich royal family if you're going to use this one. We've got these ones, which are actually really nice as well. These are by the Regal Sim. So you could have one for the king and then have a smaller one for the queen, or for the queen, the prince consort, the queen, the princess consort, the king, the prince consort. Again, comes in a lot of nice ones. Actually, should we go for these ones and then have it like that? Again, this room isn't really making sense because we've got a throne room in with the drawing room. So this is my throne that I've recolored. So that's the original one, then that's my one. So the one is because she's the first, then William is the consort, so Eleanor is my queen. This one could work, but that's like Elizabeth II, like that's based off of the British royal family's actual thrones. But Eleanor's the first, so Eleanor, who's queen, so I just made my own and I put my own little thing in it. Anyway, oh, actually let me show you something I like doing as well. Speaking of mirrors, I put them everywhere. I might as well show you guys my nice hack. If you're in a basement and you've got no windows because you can't use windows in basement, what I would do is place these ones. So this is the Felix Andre Petit Trianon, I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong, mirror. So this one I like because it looks like a window. So if you're in a basement, you can fake windows, and I like doing that a lot. So if you just put like curtains over that, it just looks like a window. Obviously you've got the reflection from it, but it's nice if you like faking something. Or, so this actually comes under, I might have gone past it. No, I haven't. These are my favourite curtains to use. So these are called the Empire Curtain Redux. So this is by the Marble Mortal and it's off a Felix Andre mesh. So it's a recolor. So you've got this one. You've got plain colours as well. I love this curtain. I use it everywhere. I love the blue swatch because my royal family's colours are actually blue. So I use these all the time. So let's do the red one. So you can size this down to have it fit. So if you were to do that and have it fit, then you could do these ones. And then you could put maybe kind of hiding that like that's too small for it. So that is another hack. And then my final hack that I'm going to show you is how to do a ceiling. And when I say ceiling, leave that in. There we go. And when I say ceiling, I don't mean like the ceilings that are kind of new to the game, which are these ones, like that. It's not that. What it is, I said is twice then. Their CC ceiling. Again, these are on like CC lists I've used, but these are by, I believe they're by the Regal Sim, but I could be wrong. Felix Andre does some that I really don't know how to use, but these are nice as well. So you're gonna wanna, so G enables the grid. So I enable the grid when I do this, because if you don't, then you're actually like placing it within like the bottom. Whereas if you do it that, you're placing it where you need to. So this ceiling is difficult to place. So these ones, you need to actually do it like that. So do you kind of see? And then you would press yes. But the ceilings I'm on about is, so this is the Hall of Mirrors by Felix Andre. So you would put one at either end. I don't know if this is going to fit in this room. I did not really build this with this in mind. And then we need to find, there we are. So what we would do for this, I'm raising these up because I do want to put, because I'm going to be putting something there, the trim. So as you can see, it's not quite the right size. This room isn't quite the right size for this. So what if we move that all? That's fine. I mean, it's not the worst deal. So what you're going to do is, let me go down one. So I think it's, I don't know if it's like 1 tile or 2 tiles away. Oh wait, it's raised, isn't it? Okay, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the trim. This is the last thing we're doing in this video. I'm sorry this video has been so long, but I kind of wanted to go through everything I do and all my hacks. Yeah, so this is the trim that we would use. Actually, that's not quite the right, I didn't place this right. So it would be up like that. Up like that. So in general, what you would do is you would make the room smaller for it to fit. So I could do that technically. So if we did it like that, it would be able to fit. So then what we would do is we'd keep it going around like that. I'm not going to finish it, but the reason we do this and the reason we like doing this is because if you go in, obviously it's not completed, but if you take screenshots in your game, they look so cool. They look so cool. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm so sorry it's been so long, but I hope it's been helpful in some way. I'm going to have all of these shelves and everything on my gallery. I won't upload this kind of room to my gallery because it's a bit messy, but you guys can kind of take all my hacks from it and like put them into your own builds. But yes, thank you guys for watching. If you guys wanted to see me build in real time other than what we've seen today, I have a lot of speed builds on my channel, like so many, it's kind of hard to count. I will link that playlist, just all of my building playlists. So yes, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!